Another deck profile.
Ouch!
What he said. Well, as you guys know, I like the Dragon Knights a lot. And I'm tired of waiting to finish it off, but it's almost finished. So it's in that awkward period. So what I decided to do is get rid of the proxies and put things that are close enough. Because I'm not waiting until, what was it, June for Richard? Oh, gee.
I don't know. It's too far, but we already built this without him anyway.
Yeah.
We know exactly where he's going.
Yeah, you know where he's going. We know where the replacements are going until we get them. So I guess without further ado, we'll just start.
Woo.
Buddy, Red Baron.
So
Here's your
German.
pizza.
Here's your pizza.
Dang it, I had fresh cheddar last night.
Yeah, he's a mover. He's got, you know, part of the move.
Excellent stats.
Yep.
Fuck Bladewing Dragon, this guy.
Yeah, he actually kills things, sort of.
He gets above the threshold with Night Energy.
If not,
That's true.
Pesky ass side lane duders.
Yeah, he does that too, and then he just moves in front to do his job. Like, there's no complaints there. He's just good. So with that being said, on to the size 3s, to Geronimo. I originally planned to have 3, but screw it. I'm surprised we even got the 2 as soon as we did.
So good. Damn.
Yeah. Starts off as a 2-7, or was it 1-2-7? 1-2-7. But with each Dragon Knight in the drop zone, he gets 1k bigger. So as you can imagine, that escalates really quickly.
Double attacker with 1 Soul Guard.
That includes spells that count as Dragon Knight spells.
And unlike Buster Cannon Dragon, he actually has defense. So he actually makes the opponent have to take a couple turns to get rid of him.
Fuck, you're fragile
If
piece
they
of shit.
ever do. Because there have been so many games where I just sat on 1 Geronimo and they could not do anything between Thunder and Night Energy disrupting them.
I mean, shoot. This is the kind of size 3 that stuff that we're expecting to see in Booster 1. You know, after the trial deck vanillas happened. Of course, it didn't happen.
They're worse than vanillas. They have a cost to be vanilla.
So terrible, guys. Just don't use them.
But yeah, you can play 3, even 4 Geronimo. He's just
Yeah,
good.
he's one of those size 3s you can actually build a deck around.
Think of your buddy. You're rich.
No, make Nobunaga your buddy if you're rich, because he's like 20-something to $30.
Oh, yeah.
That's another card that I'm surprised we got 2 of. In a day, I think, too. No, in 2 days, within 2 days.
Just run
I
2
just
of
remember
everything.
Clearly.
one
Have
time
all the flavors.
we pulled one of him and him back to back.
Yep, and then the next, and then a couple days later, both of them back to back
Same
again.
thing.
What were you gonna say, Dan?
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry about that.
I don't even know. And it's pretty nice too, because with Nobunaga, you don't need to play a strict number, you just play as many as you have.
Mm-hmm.
He's always gonna do work.
He's the definition of a tech-in card. Like, he doesn't do anything super spectacular, but he has 4 crit, which means he's going to half-kill somebody by himself.
Spiked shoulders on steroids.
Yes, he is exactly that. He is so good.
He's special. No one else has that.
That for so cheap.
The only one is one that's coming out for dual dragons, and that's one that's the same as Raging, where it's you have to have
No,
4
it's not
different.
quite the same.
Not quite the same.
Zargos wants dual dragons. This one just wants monsters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's not quite as big as far as I'm concerned.
But the point is, you need things to
Yeah,
do
you
this.
need things.
He just pay a gauge, and I'm ready to go.
Yep.
Not really doing Zargo because he's just there to make the game end faster while the rest of your deck is having a
Exactly.
He's just there to make your balls sore.
In fact, you know what? I'm going to talk about this right now. There's some people who are wondering why he is, you know, the rarity he is and why people think he's so good. And I keep having to bring this up.
4 crit.
4 crit
the game
is
just got
good.
cut in half.
Yeah, by himself, he can
They're
kill
on the
you to
field.
death.
Half your life's gone.
No, more to the points. Get that buddy out of there, Em, and that world. These two are hilarious. play Rudel, discard a card from your hand, bounce him back into your hand to do 2, bring him out, attack. They just lost 6 health right there,
And if
not
you-
including any weapons or other size 1s that you may have had on the field.
And if you had 3 gauge, Rudel again.
Well, not that turn.
Not
but
that turn. It says he
he's
can't.
still pretty crippling because they can't do anything about that damage.
Oh, can you call Rudel again? Just
You can't use his skill again.
Oh.
It specifically says on his card you can't use his skill a
I just
second
meant
time.
bring him out again so he could attack.
They're both
play
size
him,
2.
Bounce
Oh,
him,
they're
attack
both
them.
size two.
Okay.
And please.
Sorry.
They're clearly on the same row.
I'm silly.
Anyway.
Alright, yeah, I once OTK'd somebody by calling Rudel, using his ability, calling Nobunaga, equipping a weapon, and dropping a Hannibal on the field, I guess. 2, 4, 2, 2. Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty easy to do, all things considered, and it's relatively cost efficient considering
It's,
how much you're doing in a turn without an impact to finish the game.
technically a 3-card combo because 4th card's just something with 2 crit.
Yeah, basically the weapon that you're probably going to already have anyway, a card to throw away, i.e. anything really, and then Rudel and Nobunaga. Maybe a size 1 for the sweetening of the deal.
He finishes the game so fast.
Yeah, like you could easily make a deck that's just 4 Rudel, 4 Nobunaga, maybe some Iwamotos to kill whatever's in front of you.
Nobunaga is the reason Dragon Breath is viable.
Yeah, he is literally the sole reason. Because, damn. You're not going to use Thunder to get over that.
He's too fat.
So yeah, Nobunaga, long story short, Nobunaga's good. If you want to be good and use Dragon Knights, you want to use at least 2 of him, and at least maybe 2 Geronimos, unless you're just not building the deck that way.
Swagtacular triples, man.
Yep, it's exactly the case. Now for something that's less swagtacular, hello Wyatt Earp.
Dude, he's the most swag.
He
That's
is the cowboy.
Oh, yeah. This dragon looks like a unicorn.
No, it's not. Elliot, they're Dragon Knights.
I know, but for a moment I was like, wait a minute.
Crocodile unicorn.
Because
It's weird. Okay, so filler card at the moment, just because we're not.
we don't have, well, mostly because we don't have, more of him. Because he basically does his job better.
White Earp, rest him, kill a 4K or less power monster, which isn't fantastic, although it does basically kill the entirety of Magic World and.
Anybody's big defense card that doesn't have high
He's
attack.
one of those cards you definitely throw in your sideboard for tournaments. Oh yeah, if we didn't bring that up, at least the first tournament for Buddy Fight is going to have things called sideboards, which are side decks basically. 10 cards for them each, so something to bear in mind.
So this guy attacks without attacking.
Basically, yeah. Iwamoto, on the Iwamoto, is exactly what he said. He attacks without attacking. If you have another Dragon Knight on the field, you rest him to just straight up kill any monster on your opponent's field. You can see how it's better. I mean, granted, you need another Knight on the field, but, whatever.
He's a spell card.
Yeah.
Like, just treat him like one. Call him, kill something, call over him, keep going. Unless you're playing Cavalry Academy and the new Dragon Knight in Booster 2, who pays a gauge to come out, he's a size 1, I forget his exact stats, but you return one of your monsters to your hand other than a card with his name.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got Cavalry Academy out, you meet the prerequisites for playing Iwamoto using his ability, and then you can call the new size 1 guy, bring Iwamoto back to your hand, and then you can either replay him, do it again, or replay him, attack, or just
Because
save
remember
him.
that 3 crit's pretty good. Probably the only time Cavalry Academy is going to have a real use, because most of these guys aren't. Because Dragon Knights are not known for their straight up stronking people, like Dragon Knights, like Armored Dragons are. Because these guys, as you can see, mostly rely on having really cool effects and skills, or just good crits in his case, to get over things.
More substance.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're more the epitome of what Dragon World's supposed to be. A balance between spells and monsters instead of relying on your monster's bulk while your spells do all the work. But that's neither here nor there. So next card on the list, as we mentioned before, Roodle. Or Rude, as we sometimes call him.
Wow, rude.
Pay 1 gauge, what was the name of it? Canon Vogel. Whatever. It's a really weird name. You may discard a Dragon Knight from your hand. If you do, return this card to your hand and do 2 damage to your opponent. You can only use that skill once per turn. For obvious reasons of burn your hand, kill him by himself.
Yeah. Living him would not be friendly. In fact, it would be pretty rude.
Yeah, it would be very. It would be Bomb Bazaar all over again. I play Roodle. GG.
The dumb thing I just thought of. Going second. Dropping Blue Shield just because, so he can do this, and then bring out him. Freaking wreck their ass.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
He is a pretty
In fact,
big threat. You can just leave him out there as an attack magnet and not care one way or the other.
And in fact, he is a viable way to do like we were saying before, 6 damage on first turn. You just play him, burn it, then you just bring out Nobunaga and hit them in the face really hard.
Spoilers, if your opponent starts the game at 4 life, they've already lost the game.
Yep. So it's so Ruidle and Nobunaga are like the best comedy duo you will ever meet. I tell you what. Let's see. There's not really anything else to say about him. He does burn damage. He's got pretty okay stats.
He is the impact.
And feeds this guy.
Yeah, and he even feeds Geronimo by giving him more Dragon Knights.
That's a really beautiful combo, too. I have opened a lot of games just by playing Roodle a couple of times, and then dropping the Geronimo, who's now 7/7. Come at me, bro.
Oh, so that reminds me of a story about Geronimo we almost forgot about. Remember that time you used Night Energy on that demon?
Every single time. Okay, so I have like 3 knights in the drop zone, so he's 4K.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. Demon comes at him. I drop Night Energy, so my defense gets bumped up to 10K, so I live. And then Night Energy, in addition to giving me the 3K power as well, goes to the drop zone. Spoilers, it's a Dragon Knight.
Yep.
Geronimo gains another 1K power, putting him at 8, which is just enough to counterattack Demon.
Yep, so Demon died for it.
And I did that every single time.
Oh, it's so stupid, but I love it.
That synergy is something else.
Yeah, that is actually another thing right there that this deck does that a lot of other, I don't even know what you call them, sub-worlds, I guess, because they're not archetypes, because that's what Jackknife is.
I
guess, whatever they are. This is what this thing does that nothing else really does. Everything really just works off of each other correctly. Like, their spell lineup's not the most super spectacular compared to dragons, and their monsters aren't as brutal as Danger World.
But they're combos.
But they get good combos that work off each other that make it work out in the end. Like I said before, epitome of how Dragon World should be.
They're kind of like Royal Paladins, knights that work together. With dragons in them. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Legion Mate. That's what I called this deck.
Yeah, he calls it Legion Mate because Kai and Aichi, dragons and knights working together. So that's all you say about Roodle. On to the next guy, Masakado. He's good for now.
Pretty much filler, though. He's got great stats, and that's really all he's there for. He's Nobunaga light, but you can Night Energy him a bit more reliably.
You don't have to worry about him getting hit by Dragon Breath either. The only downside is Richard exists in Extra Booster 1. If you don't know who he is, he's a 4/4. If you have 4 or more Dragon Knights in your drop zone, he becomes an 8/8 that you can play for free.
Yeah.
So like he loses the crit, but the extra crit, but he's not going to be hit by anything, and he's going to hit everything.
For the raw stats, so obviously he's the one that gets dropped for Richard.
Yeah, Richard is really
Who's
good.
apparently the king of knights in this game.
I guess so. Man, I'm waiting for the Dragon Knight Alfred to show up in this game.
Dude, no. Recruit Iwamoto.
Oh my god, that's so great. I pay 3 gauge to call someone from my deck. Well, that's all for the size 2s. On to size 1s, starting out with one of the most important cards in this game, period. Dragon Knight El Quixote. Yeah, the guy who never does anything, you see. Except for he does in this game really, really well.
Gauge, please. And there are a lot of ways to burn it, because your key size 2s all use it. Geronimo uses it. Your tech Dragon Crushes are going to use it. Your Thunders use it. You got a lot of outlets, and it's pretty important to just have some spare. There will be games where you're going to be flying by the seat of your pants, like paying everything for this stuff up here, but you've got a Thunder in your hand, and then El Quixote connects, and it's suddenly live again, because you have a gauge to use.
Which was actually the big important story that El Quixote was trying to tell Noboru in that episode. Because he lost, because he couldn't use his Thunder, because he didn't have enough gauge.
Exactly. Like, when you've got a knuckle and another knuckle, one of them's going to hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really great because it's exactly what it is. 2 knuckles in one turn. And as soon as one of them hits, you get extra gauge, and that extra gauge can go a long way depending on what you use. Yeah, I'm easily going to say he's one of the best cards in this game.
Which is why he's SP for extra swag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, if we somehow end up
getting 3 more
El Quixotes, we're just going to play the SP El Quixote as the buddy.
Yeah, SP buddy for days, you see.
I mean, Baron's great, but pretty cards.
SPs are pretty.
That's the entire reason they exist.
He may not be the main engine, but he's the enabler, which allows.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. He starts everything. He makes everything keep going.
Kind of like
Rarity is El Quixote double.
Yeah.
He's double / SP.
kind of like your Doge in Magic World.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's exactly that. He's really good because of that. We already covered Red Baron. He's pretty, even from far away.
He's a very handsome man.
So German.
Yes, and very German too, especially in the show, where he has like one of the thickest accents.
Machine gun should be on his stomach. JoJo's reference, sorry.
And then this is actually one of the only surviving Booster 1 Knights in here.
Hannibal, he is Bear Trap.
That's really all he is. He's Bear Trap.
They don't have 1,000 Rapier. That's really it.
Yeah, they don't have 1,000. Well, at least they don't have a good 1,000 Rapier.
What's this number? Okay.
You know, where it's free to play.
I do have half a mind to convert it to Masamune anyway, because more synergy with Night Energy than this guy.
That's
by
true.
A little bit.
That's true. With that combined, that means people can't, reliably one-shot him. Because then he goes up to 6, which means he's right above the threshold. So yeah, it's easy to say you can replace him with Masamune if you wish.
There's one reason why I liked Hannibal, and that's because it's a 9k link attack against a Halberd Dragon.
That is true.
It's a toss-up. You can play a combination 2 if you want.
Yeah, you could even just go 2 and 2 if you just need to see things.
Especially if you add more cards that want different Dragon Knights in your drop zone. If they come out in the future. Anyway.
I gotta assume they will, otherwise they're gonna start loading up too many good things. Speaking of quote-unquote good things, here's a thing that could have been really good.
How do you say his name?
Leichenauer.
Oh, okay.
Got my headphones again.
It's somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, he's a swordsman who has very odd swords teachings styles, as you
Because
can
he only
see.
teaches dragons.
Well, more because he's holding his sword by the blade.
But really?
Yes.
Does that?
You don't know.
Yeah, he uses these teachings, I think similar to this kind that he's showing here, to best his opponents in sword fights. I don't remember exactly how, but that's what he is.
Just do what the Knights of
Anyway,
Gar would do and just
filler card for
have the
now.
blade
We're gonna be.
against your arm.
Especially since he's holding one of the sharpest parts of the blade.
Say what you will about him. All these guys I should mention are actual people. and Leichenauer is famous for this. He even wrote a book on it. Hannibal, I forget what the Knight Hannibal did, but
Hannibal was a conqueror that used war elephants.
right, he was the Elephant Man. We all know who Red Baron is. Most of you should know the story Don Quixote, so you should know who El Quixote is. Any of you guys who are, weeaboos, game fags, etc.
No. If you play this game, you should know because you should have some hint of the culture here.
Yeah, Nobunaga is one of those guys where it's like, if you know anything Japan, you should know who he is. He's Nobunaga.
Especially this past winter, because there were two shows
Two
about
shows
him.
with him, and you should know who he is. If you're American, you should know who Wyatt Earp is. Iwamoto's a bit.
Cowboy!
Yep, Iwamoto and sheriff and pimp. He was a lot of things.
And wasn't he a soccer coach at one point?
He was a boxer coach.
boxing coach.
He was a lot of things. Iwamoto, he was. There's actually a lot of things. A lot of names came up for Iwamoto. He was a pilot.
An astronomer.
And an astronomer, which explained the meteors flying everywhere. So, there's
And a pilot.
Yeah, I said pilot.
Oh, okay.
There's multiple different Iwamotos. We're assuming it's the pilot one, but the meteors suggest otherwise. Rudel is a German pilot, like the Red Baron, but not as known. Or he was Russian. He was one of the two. No, he was French. He was a French pilot. That's what he was.
Oh, that's why no one knows.
Masakato, freaking, I'm sure he was somewhere. And we brought Masamune. Everyone should at least know the sword. The sword name.
I haven't
He
finished
made
that
it.
game yet.
Yeah, he made the sword that's so legendary. And Geronimo is needless to say, that name came from somewhere.
Americans should know Geronimo.
It's the very, very vintage Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah.
Anyway,
High quality Leroy.
back over here to
Alright, back to Lichtenauer.
Fletchinder.
Whatever. Whatever. Point is, he's the closest you get to 1,000 Rapier in this deck.
The Costa Gauge.
Also gauge that can be off-putting to many, but he's also compatible with Night Energy.
He goes up to 6k defense and murders anything that attacked him because 8k power.
So it has a purpose. It's just know that, like Moscato and anything that needs a gauge to be brought out, it will make you kind of look silly when you go against Magic World. But then again, that's why this deck has Geronimo.
Anyway, filler card for the time being while we're hunting down these El Quixotes over here.
Yeah.
We'll see how he plays.
If he plays well, he might even replace Hannibal if the gauge isn't that big of a deal. But, we'll see. It's only time will tell for that. On to the spells. 8 shields,
your
because
staples.
yeah, like I said in the last buddy deck profile, if you're not playing a deck where the whole base is have a monster be a wall for you, you're probably running your 8 shields.
Here you want your triple offensive field.
Yeah, so most of the time you're basically going balls to the wall and just trying to beat them up. It leaves yourself open a lot.
One of my favorite fields, actually, is just once the game gets rolling and it's sort of towards the end, you've got an Anthem and a Geronimo on the side. They have to deal with 4 attacks every turn. It's not easy.
Yeah, really pushes people in their pants.
And that's why Dragon World doesn't have a green 0.
Yeah, they can't now.
They cannot afford to have one now.
Even if it's like...
Even if it's like a 1/2/1 Dragon Knight.
Not
Costs a
even a
gauge.
Dragon Knight. Even if it's Armored Dragons, like, I will play this. I need to harass you more.
If generics get one, it's all over because think about it, Geronimo, any size 0 that does damage and a weapon.
It's a 0/1/0.
So it's like you're doing
They
like 7 or 8 damage in a turn with that.
I've seen...
Does your
Right.
0 really need power when you've got Drago Anthem clearing any given center?
Nah. It could be a 0/1/0 for all we cared. Hey, what were you saying, Dan?
Pretty much, I've seen several times that 1 life will matter in this game.
It will, just not one gained life, unless it does something else.
Key of Solomon, second volume.
But yeah, it forces them down to the red zone, and no one wants to be in the red zone after a turn. That's dangerous.
Unless you've got your comeback card, which not many worlds have, I don't think.
Not especially. So back to the spells. Draconic Thunder, because kills anything that would be in their way,
It's
mostly.
kind of the best spot removal in the game right now, I think.
I agree.
At counter speed, being able to take out any size 1, especially when size 1s are the center of a lot of decks. Like, here?
But here, like,
You got your Red Baron. These two do most of the... they don't do the heavy lifting.
but they
do
set up
the-
everything so the heavy lifters can do their job.
And having a size 1 is one of the most reliable ways of having 2 attacks.
Especially if you're running a lot of size 2, as you can see this deck is doing exactly that. It's one of those things you gotta do. You know, you gotta have really good size 1s, and if Leichenauer turns out to be worth the 1 gauge cost, then there's another one right there. Like, who's just doing heavy lifting of his own just because he's big enough.
Night Energy, also a staple, especially since we've got our little move duder over here with good stats, no less. It's not a Blade Wing Dragon.
Yep, anything that can make it to 6K with, even if it's just with a net energy support, is good enough. Because that's 6K is super important.
Geronimo, the most annoying son of a bitch.
Yep, he becomes a 10K defender with that thing.
Pro tip, not even Jam Harder Dragon's getting over that.
It's so good. Even if someone does manage to get over it, Soul
Who
Guard,
cares?
he's bad.
Play
He's still
another
here.
one because it took them that long to kill it.
Yeah, like most decks. It's like, yeah, we keep going back to Geronimo because it's so good.
Reading it right now.
Yes, because even if you kill him, you took at least 2 or 3 turns to do it, and then you just play another one, and they wasted all these resources killing just this one.
And he can just seal a game by killing what's left. You don't need to push for damage too hard.
Some of our games, field presence is a bit more key than life.
Yep. And then this game, the late game, is a example of that. Do your damage early while they're still setting their stuff up. Then when they start trying to go on defensive, start picking off their, defenses. It's a weird game like that.
Being forced into a defensive position is the worst fucking thing. Because a lot of the time, there's just no way out.
Mm-hmm. And that being said, the last card here, it's a tech in for now. Originally, it was going to be a third Geronimo, but, I'm not going to predict us getting one overnight. So, Dragon Crush, the pay 2 gauge, kill a spell or item. It's a good card still, because you get to kill their weapon.
Or their set.
Or a set
Goodbye,
spell, which
Green Dragon
might
Song.
be... Oh, God, it's going to be so useful killing Green Dragon Song, because that's going to be an annoying little
It's
card.
going to be the main deck side deck.
No, if nothing else, you're going to at least play 2 or 3 of these in the sideboard. Specifically against things like Jackknife or
Magic World.
or Dragons or Magic World.
Katana World. You
Even-
play 4,
You might even just
or you're gonna get fucked.
yeah, you might even just have them in.
Draconic Charge.
It's good. It's just good. I don't know where you'd even put it in after the switch. Probably either
it's
they're
probably gonna go over the Thunders because Thunders can't kill Tsukikage.
That's true.
They can kill Shiden. Oh damn it! I don't know.
I don't even know. It's like I know we have the ability to go above 50, but usually we don't like that idea because we want to have just the bare minimum.
That is true. You actually can during sighting because you just need to have a sideboard that's not more than 10 cards and a deck that is legal.
Oh, so we could just throw them in if we really needed to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess problem solved. Throw the crushes, extra crushes in the sideboard. If you really need them, just throw them in.
And the reason for the only one anthem is just
We
haven't
we
got
only
that.
have the one.
Honestly, it's a weapon you play 4 of because it's borked. It
So-
is like card advantage
Yeah. Those who have
You want to gauge discard one?
everywhere.
Yeah, pay 2 gauge, bring out 5/1 double attacker. Doesn't do much damage, can only attack the center, but it means your opponent's never going to have a center. And this, yeah, but this card with Drago Slasher can single-handedly kill Dueling Dragon. Yeah, Dueling Dragon's Precious Emperor dies to him. Because even if they manage to use Battle Spirit Unite, surprise, surprise, I got another attack, and I'm still 10k.
Demon Godel just got donked. Drum just got donked.
Yep.
It's Slasher is a pretty good.
Because we should mention this. Because Slasher also has the additional ability of when he attacks, choose one of your opponent's monsters with a soul and get rid of one of their soul.
Ooh, that's nice.
So if it attacks someone like Demon Godel, attack them once, they lose their soul, they lose the other soul because of the Slasher's effect. Attack them again, it's dead.
And it's gone, just like that.
Yeah, it gets in there really tough. Like I said, we'll try to get 4 in there. So what will most likely happen is that, and we'll go 3 Knuckles if we can get another Knuckle. Or maybe they'll even just stay fearless. I mean,
Very possible. I mean, until we get them, I would probably just play the full set of Fearless, because I never actually want to drop for Drago Brave that often.
Drago Brave is normally my gauge fodder.
Yeah, as the time goes on, especially with the better version coming out,
Yeah,
it's like not as worth it anymore.
Shoot, Drago
We didn't tell you yet.
No, it's pay 1 gauge, pay 1 life.
Yeah, pay 1 gauge, pay 1 life, doing the same thing. I'd rather pay the 1 life than drop a card that might be important.
Since you can build back life and you have that 1 emergency life.
I can defend myself. I have these. I'd rather just pay the life.
I have a feeling Nober's deck is going to be Anthem and Breach.
Probably.
Because something's got to do damage with Victory Slash.
I feel that he'll I don't know, maybe pay 1 life for that weapon and then Grimoire to get his impact.
But if nothing else, it's definitely going to be 4 of these Anthems somehow. If we can't get 4, it'll probably be reduced. We'll try to at least force ourselves to get 1 more somehow. And then do 2 Anthem, 2 Knuckle, 4 Breach.
It is a double. I mean, with how often we've been seeing Inferno Armor Dragon, I'm sure these will show up.
That's what I want to think. But then I think about the fact that we only have 1 of this, and only 2 of him. One of them is only double rare, though. The other one's SP, which is cool, but my point is...
Never seen Osmo die.
Still haven't seen Osmo die yet.
He's a triple, but he's still an asshole.
And we keep seeing those Infernos. I'm thinking Inferno is just the easy double rare in the set.
Mess, yeah, essentially the pseudo rares.
Yeah, the one that's like, he is double rare, but he's not that hard to find. Like, he's the one that they throw in so that the other cards don't become easy to get.
I don't know.
Well, either way, we'll see what happens. So the ideal changes that will be made is we'll try to maybe add in another Geronimo because he can't really be killed that easily.
Cannot be stopped.
Add in 2 more Iwamotos if possible, 2 more El Quijotes. Hannibal or Leichenauer will either stay or be changed out to Masamune depending on what happens. Yes, they stopped them. And Dragon Crush may or may not be teched in here somehow. Or maybe it'll just be on the sideboard and just thrown in as 54 cards. As a 54 card deck if we never need it to be.
If not, try to make it 52, taking out whatever black that isn't working against the matchup.
Yeah, well, that can work too. I mean, we got some plans. This is actually the first time in a while that this deck has actually been pressed for space. Usually we have like at least 2 or 3 extra spots. But with all the stuff coming out now, they actually have options now, and that's really neat.
The 2 techs have usually been like Iwamotos or Thrashers or whatever. We've been throwing around ideas, and now that the sideboard's a thing, it's like, oh, well, shoot.
It's harder to...
This deck space is kind of...
Yep, exactly. But we'll deal with that when it comes. Now, if you'll excuse us, we got some buddy deck testing to do, especially because Leichenauer is tempting my butt with his partner.
By the way, it's literally impossible to impact in this deck, so fuck off.
Yeah. Before you even say it, yeah, there's no way Impact's getting in here. Not at the gauge cost that they come in. That game's too important for everybody, even the ones who don't have gauge cost. So, till next time, everybody. Name of this deck is
Legion Mate.
either Legion Mate or Rude. Because even though he's not the buddy, he's rude.
Spelled R-E-W-D.
Also named Here's Your Pizza or Pizza Time. It has a lot of names because a lot of names work for it.
Some call it Tim.
I don't, though. So until next time, everybody. See ya. And buddy hard.